It's the Sega Game Gear. By gar, it's been a while. That's right, the game system that was so prominently featured in Surf Ninjas starring Leslie Nielsen is here at last. In 2024. The most timely of references. I basically know nothing about this property. It was always around. There was always some new incarnation of Power Rangers floating around there, but I never saw any of them, for whatever reason. Guess it was one of those shows where it's only on for like one 30-minute window a week. You can pick out which Ranger you want to be. That's kinda cool, eh? That's kinda cool, eh? There's a joke I could have made about that screen, but Key and Peele already did it, so I guess you'll have to use your imagination. So, the combat here is a bit more nuanced than you might think, dear viewer. You can do like a Hadouken input and you'll get a secret move where you take out a sword. That's pretty neat, eh? A secret move where you can take out a sword. Yeah, the whole thing's just on one screen. Kinda like one of those Tiger Electronic games. But fret not, viewer, new things will happen. It's not just a loop of this for 10 minutes. So, to reiterate, I basically know next to nothing about the smelly old Power Rangers, and I think the reason for that has to do with the way that TV scheduling worked back then. Because you see, with children's entertainment back in the 2000s, you had the Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network shows, and they would rerun those all day, you see, and then there'd be other shows that would be reserved for just Saturday mornings and nothing else, usually on one of the major networks like Fox or something. So if you missed it, you missed it. You might as well just run out into traffic, 2000s kid. You're not gonna see your Sonic X or your Kirby right back at you, or your Power Rangers Wild Zords, cause your dad wanted to go to Lowe's to look at rakes. Better luck next week, but next week's gonna be new episodes, so you're not gonna know what's going on. This is Fox, for crying out loud. We can't show these things all day. We gotta save these time slots for boring adult stuff like golf and Survivor and infomercials for vacuums and Family Guy. Burning in a Family Guy. Go, go, Power Rangers. This is kind of a tough boss for the first level, huh? So yeah, how about we talk about the Sega Game Gear more, since that's what we're looking at. So, just from an outsider's assessment of why the system didn't quite succeed, I think the big issue that it faced was the batteries. I think the system would have sold twice or even 3 times as much if it had rechargeable batteries instead of just AA's. But unfortunately, no such thing existed back in the ancient days. No such thing as rechargeable batteries, so your average Game Gear, it had to take, I think, 6 AA's, and they'd only last like 4 hours. And when you look at it that way, it's perfectly sensible why the Game Gear didn't sell. They could have just fixed that. They could have been the next big thing. So yeah, a moment ago, Rita Repulsa, that being the villain of this game, she had some kind of a rhyming announcement, reminiscent of something you'd hear from Grunty and Banjo-Kazooie. Yeah, these are some real timely references, but I always liked the rhyming dialogue. And then they didn't do it in Banjo-Tooie for whatever reason. There was that one guy who was doing those trolling videos. He would like go onto people's servers or whatever, and he would just make random gruntilde. I think the character. fuck, you ever eat Triscuits and you just get like a little tiny shred of wheat that's just kinda stuck halfway down your throat? That's what's happening to me right now. Anyway, yeah, the guy, he was trolling people in random MMOs and random online games, and he would just make grunty noises to try and distract them. Just meh, 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 meh. Nobody knows what the fuck I'm talking about, but that's okay. You guys just came here to look at Power Rangers, didn't you? Who the hell cares about this other shit? Y'all don't want to hear me, you just want to dance. So yeah, like I mentioned before, this is highly reminiscent of one of those Tiger Electronic handheld games from back in the day, in terms of structure. If you want more analysis on those sort of things, AVGN has a good video about that. That's a famous video, you know. The Wrist Game. Okay, we're doing pretty good here, eh? Next I shall send the Nasty Knight again. Okay, that one didn't rhyme. That's kind of a letdown. The Nasty fucking fucker. That's his name. Speaking of the Game Gear, I saw a thing once about game collecting in India and how things aren't quite, set up there. They don't have proper game stores or the infrastructure for it. But they do have, like, unofficial ones, and the video interviewed the owner of the store. His name was Babu, and he handed the YouTube video making guy, like, a Sega Game Gear. It was literally just, like, caked in mud. It's like, why would you even sell this? Babu, if you're watching this somehow, just try not to get your feelings hurt. I mean no harm by making fun of that filthy, nasty Sega Game Gear you tried to sell to that guy. Wouldn't that be wild if Babu saw this somehow? Secretly, he was my biggest fan this whole time. He just never had the courage to comment on anything. Another factoid about this game is Pan Pizza of YouTube fame. He made a passing mention to it once, so that's something. He was saying it's the only game on the Game Gear that's worth anything, and, well, I certainly don't agree with that. They had Sonic games, they had some RPGs, they had tactics games, they had ports of Master System stuff. If you were willing to look, there was all kinds of neat stuff out there. All kinds, you just gotta know what to look for. What was that voice? I don't even know. It seems like at the start of this fight we really had the drop on Nasty Nork, but now he's catching up. He's learning, adapting even. Heaven help us. So when I was younger, I had the Power Rangers Wildzord toy. That was really cool. Because it was like 5 toys in one, and you could you could piece them together and make one big toy. And yeah, I had all kinds of fun with that. And then there was a whole nother set, believe it or not. Same idea, but with different Wildzords. There was the original one that had like a lion and an eagle, and then the other one had a gorilla. As a kid, I assumed there were just the 2 sets, but then like 20 years later, I learned there was a 3rd, a 4th, and even a 5th set. I was utterly flabbergasted.
Bye, have a beautiful time.